Well, in the last video that I made about this update about Ideogram, I went over the coloring pages and the children's book pages that I was making, and I realized that, a lot of people use Ideogram for covers, and so I think the cover creation aspect is really kind of critical for many of us that make book covers. And so this is my upcoming book cover course that I'm in the process of making. So I took a bunch of the prompts from here to run them through to see how it would work. And I think it's really a big difference. I think for people who use 2.A, the update, I think you're going to need to run your covers in both 2.0, and I'm going to show you. I'm not going to run them. I've run them already, so I want to save you some time. So I'm just going to show you the difference. So this is the old version, 2.0, right here, and you can see it gives some really nice font effects. You have a larger variety of fonts and actually layouts in the older version than you do in this 2A version. So hopefully Ideogram is actually paying attention to what we're saying out here as users, and understanding that we want more variety. While I do see that it gives us darker fonts, which is great, it gives us less variety of layout, I think, less artistic variety, and you're going to see here in a second. So this bottom row is 2.0 and the top version is the new version, and you'll see some differences. So here is a fantasy cover. Here is the old version, 2.0. It has a lot more fun fonts. Now in this particular one, the fonts were still kind of cool, and so maybe for fantasy fonts that's not going to be a big problem. This does have some decent variety. I think this is the newer version here. It does have a little issue with spacing. I think this one came out okay. Children's books, here is the older way. So this really translated the prompt very well. It gave me a full bear rolling down a hill, and it's really cute. And you can see all the different varieties. I have color in my font. I have colored letters. These letters are sort of fat and have shading on them. And meanwhile, these other ones really kind of boring and not very colorful, and this just had more variety than this did. And also the bears are all more correct than in this version here. So for children's books, I did a few of them just to see exactly what was happening. And like I said, what it's doing is it's giving us more prominent outlines, it looks like anyway, darkening up some of the fonts, but as that's happening, it's taking away a little bit of the variety. Now that's not the case across all genres, so that is why I'm saying that you're going to need to take a look at whatever book cover you're trying to make. So this one has way more, I think. Now this is lighter. It could be darker with the letters around here, obviously, but I really love this watercolor effect. Meanwhile, all of these are kind of the same. I didn't see any of these that I really liked, but these I liked this one a lot more. And then this one here, you can see again, I have the multicolored letters, and I'm losing that multicolored letter effect in many of these cover ones that I'm making. Whoops, I don't know why that did that. That went to the top of my page. Hang on just a second. Let me scroll. And so again, you can see that there's this color issue. It happened in the bear too. I have multicolored fonts here. and I don't have it in the new version. I have multicolored fonts in the old version, but I don't have it in the new version. So if you do want some variety, especially in kids' covers, you definitely should try running the prompt on both. Here's another one. This one kind of is okay. This is 2.0. And then this is the newer version. This one did an okay version. I really kind of like this color that it put on the mountainside. And so either one of these versions turned out to be okay. I like the more swooshy things that I have here going on. So that's again going to be a call that you have to make by running both of the prompts. On this one here, another children's cover. I ran a bunch of children's covers since that's what I'd like to make a lot. This one really struggled with giving me the prompt that I wanted. So this is an ice cube running across a counter, and this one just is more flat and not really quite as interesting as these are, I think. So the older version for the win on this cover here versus this cover here. Here's another one, Pebble on the Pond. This is the older version. I like this atmospheric look that it's giving me. Again, I'm getting more watercolor options with the older version, and also this textured, once again, this textured font that I mentioned, this more distressed font. This doesn't seem to give us much distressed fonts. The fonts are way more solid and readable. There's a little texture on the side of the font here, but it's not as interesting as this one is. It's easier to read, so I guess maybe that is what they're trying to go for. But overall, in this round, I kind of like these covers better than these covers here. Now again, these are acceptable covers. Each one of these 4 would be usable if that's all I had to work with. But if I have a choice, I'm going to probably pick one of these down here. I kind of like this one the best. It just, I mean, literally across 4, I have way more variety than I do here. And so that's what's also interesting to me when I'm running these. So again, here's a romance cover. We can see that it once again is giving us very bold font colors, making them easier to read. So it's really pushing out darker colors instead of lighter, more pastels. As far as the people that are in the scene, they're all relatively the same. It's a little bit bigger here than there. But with the font here, this is a little bit more of a romance with the little tails on here than it is on here. So, though, again, this is easier to read. So you're going to have to make that decision in terms of what you like for that, for romance. Now, here in this 1920s was very significant to me. You can see this older the older version 2.0 really had some beautiful stylization with this specific genre here. I really love this Art Deco look, and that Art Deco is kind of lost or really flat or very boring in the updated version. And just really not that interesting. These are super interesting to me, and these not so much. So just because I really love the layout of this, it's really very nice. So the old version for the win on these covers here, as far as the beauty of the Art Deco look. Now this is these came out okay. The Wings of the Dragon, this is the newer version again, looking at darker fonts. This is Standout. The dragons all came out okay, so that's fine. But you can see the layout of the page here and the stylization of the font itself, much more kind of a Viking kind of look on this. This, not so much. These are all just kind of boring fonts. These are a lot more dynamic, interesting looking fonts, much more to the genre of these books. So the images are all working out okay, but the font is proving to be the biggest thing. And the biggest reason we come to Ideogram is not just because it spells so well, but because it does a great job with giving a wide variety of fonts. So that is kind of important to me. Here is a nonfiction cover. This one is the older version, very dynamic in every single one of these. You can see the energy lines that are here, speed lines that are going on here, whereas only 2 of these gave me speed lines, and both of those look exactly the same. So there's very little variety. These both are the same, and these are the same, whereas I have 4 very distinct covers in the 2.0 version. So I think that that is definitely a consideration here. Less variety going on in the newer iterations. Now, this is a style of book that I make when I make alphabet books. In this one, the new version, for the win, and that goes because we're looking at the emphasized fonts. This is the older version, and it's really struggled with making this page. Even though I did make this particular book with the older version, this came out perfect with just one try, and I'm really impressed with this particular layout here. I'm really kind of surprised. It really struggled, and so it struggled with having lots of words. So they really look like they have nailed spelling and darker words and understanding that, but have taken away some of the beauty of the typography. When I ran it on a coloring page, it didn't do quite as well. The older version gave me all coloring pages, and the prompt was very specific, saying a white background, easy to color, is the prompt. But the new version did not listen or obey the prompt that I gave it. So it gave me these 2, which are pretty good, but this one gave me pretty much all 4, except this one has some colors on it, which I could get rid of, but it succeeded in giving me exactly what I asked with the white background. So again, you're going to need to run the prompt through both. Now, this is a social media post that I ran just to see what the layout was. This is the older version. I really personally like the layout of the older version than I do this one. I don't really see, other than maybe this one, all 4 of these I like and I would use in a social media campaign. The 4 of these, not so much. I might use this one. Maybe I'd use this one. But as far as the layout goes, these are much more professional looking in terms of what I would use for a social media post. For making just fun sticker art or t-shirt art, this is the old version here. Happy Easter, so cute. Fat little bunnies, all the backgrounds. Now this one here gave me some weird renditions. This one's not really that acceptable. These are all fairly acceptable. Again, very boring font, right? So I have a poster with this. I mean, all the fonts are exactly the same, right? Now this one here, I have a cute little banner. This is a different kind of banner. This is a different kind of banner. And this is a different kind of banner. So I have 4 different banners to choose from. And this one really kind of not so much, and all the same font choices. Now I make 2-page spreads for my kids' picture books, so that was important to me as well. And this did a pretty good job. They both all came out about the same. So the font says that it needs to respect the gutter in the middle of the page. So I need the font to be on one side and the image to be clearly on the other side of the page. So that is part of the font there, and it did obey what I asked it to do. I do like actually the newer version renditions. So they came out fairly cute. I really like these images here. I really like this watercolor on that one and the fireflies on that one. That came out really cute. This one was a little bit of a hit and miss here. This is the old version, and this is actually what the page looks like that I've had to deal with, and then I had to cut it up. And on this page, it actually followed my prompt much better and put the text on one side of the page, respecting the gutter in the middle and then the image on the other side. So it took the direction a lot better in this newer version, and the older version basically didn't listen to the prompt at all. Even though it gave very beautiful renditions, I have to go into Canva and move the text around, which is what I had to do with this image when I made it. Here's some more covers. Actually, sorry, this is going to be in my new course. So that's kind of where this ends. So I really hope that this was valuable for you to see the differences between the old version and the new version. In some cases, the old version is definitely outperforming the new version, but not in all cases. So in this case, the old version outperformed the new version, but in this case, the old version failed and the new version did an excellent job. So going forward, you're going to need to decide what you want to do. And I would say for a while, especially as this new version is still being trained, that you're going to have to consider maybe running your prompts in both until you feel satisfied, one or the other. But some of these are fairly significant in the renditions that you get. So hopefully that was helpful for you and you got something out of it. See you in the next, and look forward. I have a link to my new course on one prompt, one click, instant covers. It will be down in the description here, and it's going to be a course on making covers using Ideogram. So see you then. Bye-bye.